All right, I think we're all here. Freeman, Potenza, Scully. Okay, that's what I see. I know. I know Potenza and Scully will be out. I didn't know about Freeman, so I don't know if she'll be here, but
Anything to Catherine, but
okay.
apparently not here, so.
Yeah. Well, it's 10:29, so we'll wait. Uh, uh, Okay, good morning, everybody. It is 10:30, according to uh, my time here. And I would like to have Representative Howard help us lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Before us today is SB 302, requiring background checks for solid waste facility owners. But before we get underway, I just want to note that Representative Potenza is out today, as she has been in the hospital dealing with a blood clot in her leg and her lung. And we wish her a speedy recovery. And she has provided us with an amendment to this bill this morning, which we will, I'm sure, discuss. So I'm going to open up the exec session for SB 302. And I would like to make a motion to amend this bill with the amendment 2025-2219H. Do I hear a second?
I will second that.
Thank you, Representative Bixby. So this amendment to SB 302, now SB 302, if you recall, we had a hearing for this bill requiring background checks for solid waste and hazardous waste facility owners. This bill came over to us from the Senate. The Senate did have an amendment to this to clarify some language, which I initially put together in another amendment because we couldn't address a Senate amendment. We had to have a House amendment prepared. After I prepared that, Director Wimsatt sent me some communication with some further amendments. So I amended that amendment with that language. That amendment, that language is included in this amendment that we are considering today. Additionally, the language from the trailer bill, which addresses the siting evaluation committee, was extracted from the trailer bill, which is why we had that non-germane amendment hearing last week. So that non-germane amendment language is also included in here with some changes that Henry Vayu from Waste Management provided with regard to making some exception for additional cells being opened up and expansions of landfills. So that piece is in here too. What we've also included in this bill is the language for HB 616, regarding the animal cruelty bill that was, I believe, tabled in the Senate. And I know that Senator Pearl has some language that he wants to include or amend to that bill. That bill should have gone to, as far as I'm concerned, should have gone to ENR instead of Judiciary. But be that as it may, whatever, we are giving them another chance to make some changes to that legislation. And so that is what is included in this amendment for 2025-2219H. And I entertain any questions or comments. Representative Comtois.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to thank Representative Potenza and this committee for adding the language from House Bill 616. I think there's been a lot of misinformation going around to the public, even as noted in the Senate calendar, where they stated, I don't believe it was accurate what they stated. So this bill, contrary to what everyone believes, does not say that animals shall not be seized unless there is a conviction. In no way does this bill do that. It says that investigating officer for a case involving livestock shall be accompanied, and I know there's going to be language that they could do it by Zoom and everything else, and it's specifically for livestock. It doesn't include domesticated animals as is in 427:38(3). I think that we understand that if an animal is in imminent danger, it can be seized immediately. That is very important to understand. The other thing that's going around is it's saying that it will prevent the nonprofits from raising money. That also is not true. What it says is that a person is innocent until proven guilty, and you cannot use those animals for someone in a pending case to raise funds. So if we believe in the justice system and believe that innocent until proven guilty is the case, then I think that this makes perfect sense. And I just want everyone to understand that there are provisions if an animal is in imminent danger for removal, and that nonprofits can collect and raise money. It's very important to understand that we are not stopping that at all.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on this amendment? Representative Germana.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to thank you for your kind of leadership on this and making sure that, we had a good flow of communication among all the members of the committee, and as usual, in a completely bipartisan way. I think it's really important that the moratorium in the site evaluation committee, as we've talked about, lives in a bill on its own, because if we end up in a committee of conference, it gives us a much better position to see the things that we have already worked on get into the final product. So I also want to, as you did, thank Representative Potenza. I spoke with her this morning. I said that I would try to push the rules as far as possible and exercise a vote on her behalf as well. But she's sad that she couldn't be here and appreciates the work the committee has done. So thank you.
Thank you. Representative Brixby.
Yeah, so I'd just like to make a couple of points. One is on 616. This is, I think that 616 is really critical because back in, I think it was 2017 or 18, we worked on the last attempt to make sure that due process was in place. And we thought we had it buttoned up, but the fact that it was possible for these animals to be seized in the case in Lee without triggering the requirements of what we had put into law suggested that we had not done it quite clearly enough. And I think that what 616 really does is it does a better job of clarifying where the due process rights are And it doesn't say that you can't, that animals can't be seized. It requires that there be probable cause in order to do that, and that there needs to be an imminent danger, and that probable cause needs to be established by the state vet or a designee, and so that it is not, so that it removes the appearance of conflict of interest. I think that it is important that to also note that removing the appearance of conflict of interest is something that is in it's also important for animal welfare organizations, because there are occasions where those organizations are accused of conflict of interest when it is not in fact the case. But if we have it in statute that how to avoid that appearance of conflict of interest, that will be better for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that the other thing that the bill does is it makes a clearer distinction between between taking animals when there is probable cause of animal cruelty, and taking animals when the owner is not present to take care of them, and that second situation is temporary protective custody, and does not necessarily imply that there is a criminal issue, but it is a matter of the animals are there, they're not being taken care of. Maybe the owner was on vacation and, was in an accident or something and wasn't able to get back. That's a situation where protective custody would be absolutely necessary. So making a clear distinction between protective custody and a potentially criminal situation is really important. And I think that it does a much better job of establishing where the bounds of due process are. And I believe very strongly in due process. And I think that it should be granted. It is so fundamental to our system of doing things in our country that we shouldn't be sloppy with it, whether it's a matter of animals or whether it's a matter of people or whatever. So that's 616. And as for the site evaluation committee, I think it's really critical that we have it in a separate bill. I think it is very important that it is a bill that, when it comes to being to committee of conference, which there certainly will be, because we know that Senator Pearl is looking at certain changes to that site evaluation committee and has been discussing them with the governor. So there will be some changes from what we have here, but we want to be people in the room when that gets discussed. And I think that it is really, by having this in this bill, it really puts us in a position to guide it through appropriately, as we've been guiding it all along, in a very nonpartisan way. I think that I am really proud of the way the committee has worked on these bills, and so I think that we should approve Rep. Potenza's amendment, and that's where I am on it.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments on this? Seeing none, I request the clerk to call the roll on amendment to SB 302, number 2025-2219H.
Vice Chairwoman Barber,
Yes.
Representative Comtois,
Yes.
Representative Kenny.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Minor,
Yes.
Ranking Member Bixby,
Yes.
Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Haskins,
Aye.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Wheeler,
Yay.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Chairwoman Aaron.
Yes, thank you.
12-0. Motion passes.
Okay, with that, I'd like to make a motion of OTPA for SB 302, which includes the amendment of 2219H.
It seems like Director Wimsatt has something to say to us.
Just had a chance to look at this, and I want to make sure that the committee understands that this amendment, as I read it, also appears to eliminate the Waste Management Council and all appeal references in all of our governing statutes in the Waste Management Division for our orders and actions to be appealed to the Waste Council.
Okay.
That's at section 10 on page 17. Page 17, section 10. And I apologize, I don't want to be out of order here.
Okay. Page 17. Okay, well, we're already in the voting mode, and
Understand.
that could be something that can be fixed in community conference. Okay. With that, I'd like to move OTPA on SB 302. Representative Germana? Oh, Representative Bixby, I'm sorry.
I would like to second that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you want to speak to it first? I was going to.
Yeah, no, I have nothing further to say. Representative Germana, you may speak.
Thank you. And I did want to address the point that the director made. I think it is important. This will be headed to committee of conference, but that was not unintentional. We've had some discussion about concerns we have with the current constitution of the Waste Management Council. We're hoping that the SEC process can provide some better alternatives to the current system, the way it works. So it is something that, we know we'll have to go to a committee of conference, but I think it is a conversation that is very well worth having.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I direct the clerk to call the roll.
Vice Chairwoman Barber,
Yes.
Representative Comtois,
Yes.
Representative Kenny.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Minor,
Yes.
Ranking Member Bixby,
Yes.
Representative Germana,
Yes.
Representative Haskins,
Aye.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Wheeler,
Yay.
Representative Gruber,
Yes.
Chairwoman Aaron.
Yes.
12-0. Motion passes.
Okay, I'd like to put this on the consent calendar. Any objection to that? Okay. Thank you. I'm going to call the end of the exec session for SB 302. Thank you. Okay, so we have a field trip this afternoon at 1:30 where we will be going to a research facility at in Lee. Let me just grab my paper about that. So we will be meeting at 1:30 at the Organic Dairy Research Farm at 216 Lee Hook Road in Lee, New Hampshire. And then after, we will be going to the Woodman Horticultural Research Farm, 70 Spinney Lane, Durham, New Hampshire. And I also want to bring to the attention of the committee, excuse me, we've had an invitation from Representative Minor and Leanne Minor from Flying Farm to go to see them processing their chickens or ducks. And they have put forth 2 days, May 30th or June 2nd. And I'd like to know who's interested in going and what day might they be interested in going. Huh? Those are, let's see, it's Friday, May 30th or Wednesday, June 2nd. Or Monday, June 2nd, I'm sorry. I actually would be unable to attend on the 2nd. So May 30th works out well for me. I don't know about everybody else. May 30th? Okay. So May 30th, it looks like we would be visiting your farm. Is there a time that you would prefer?
Yes, typically, we get going, well, actually, there's a lot to get going, but typically, 10 o'clock would be a good time to arrive. At that point, you can see from beak to feet what goes on. It's pretty interesting. I think you'll all be very well educated when you leave. The address is 63 South Road, Fremont, New Hampshire. 03044.
Okay, so 10 a.m., May 30th in Fremont, New Hampshire at
And that
your
will be-
farm.
That will be the whole committee?
Whoever, I don't know.
That will be the people in the room at this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
okay. All right, thank you very much for that invitation, and we look forward to seeing you there. So if we hear a motion to adjourn? So moved, second? Representative Haskins, thank you. And all others in favor, aye? And we'll see you at the Dairy Research Farm.